There's a Korean ritual so powerful, it's said to turn back time, without surgery, needles, or modern science. Passed down in silence for centuries, it vanished before the world could copy it. But traces of it still survive, hidden in daily habits that make aging nearly stop. This is the secret that erased 20 years from my face. And to understand it, you have to start where it all began. Not with beauty, but with medicine. Because in Korea, skincare didn't come from vanity. It came from healing. Your skin isn't wallpaper, it's an organ, a living, breathing system that reacts to everything happening inside you. Korean medicine figured this out 400 years ago. In 1613, a massive medical encyclopedia called Donguibogam was published in Korea. Buried in its pages was the idea that your face is essentially a report card for your insides. When you're stressed, you break out. When you eat garbage, your skin looks dull. Korean doctors noticed that skin health reflected organ balance, blood quality, and something they called internal temperature. This was about inflammation, stress, poor digestion, all of it creating what they described as heat rising in the body. So they didn't slap creams on problems. They cooled the body from within. Barley tea, chrysanthemum tea, omija berry drinks. The logic was simple. Calm the inside, and the outside follows. No separation between skincare and body care. They understood that your skin and your gut talk to each other, that your liver affects your complexion, that stress hormones age your face. We see a wrinkle and reach for retinol. They saw a wrinkle and asked what imbalance caused it. Ancient Korean medicine didn't have fancy scientific terms, but they had observations, and those observations were disturbingly accurate. Modern science is proving them right. Studies confirm that chronic internal heat accelerates aging. But the water they used to put out that fire? That's where things get interesting. Water was never just water in traditional Korean skincare. Tap water? Too harsh, too lifeless. Instead, they used aged or infused waters. Waters that had been sitting with intention, absorbing nutrients overnight. Rice water, mugwort water, barley tea water. Rice water was the star. It brightened and soothed. Modern testing shows it contains natural niacinamide and amino acids that improve skin tone. Science confirmed that rice water increases the skin's barrier hydration by about 25 to 30% within a single week. Mugwort water was antibacterial, cooling, and hormone balancing. Women dealing with acne would soak mugwort leaves overnight and use that water to cleanse their face. Barley tea water, packed with minerals and antioxidants for hydration and nourishment. These waters were stored in earthen jars. Clay. The belief was that clay absorbed trace minerals from the earth and transferred them into the water. The act of preparing water the night before, letting it sit, created a practice that was meditative and effective. This idea traces back to shamanic beliefs, the belief that water retains energy and memory. The ritual wasn't complicated. Infuse water overnight. Use it to wash your face. Simple. But the consistency and intention made all the difference. Once you understood water's role, the next step involved learning how temperature could transform the skin entirely. Imagine being told you can't use cosmetics. That was reality in Korea's Joseon Dynasty royal courts. Cosmetics were restricted, so what did they do? Fire and ice therapy, alternating warm and cold compresses. 30 seconds warm, 15 seconds cold. Repeat 3 rounds. The warm compress opens blood vessels, increases circulation. The cold compress constricts those vessels, tightening pores and reducing inflammation. It's like giving your capillaries a workout. They infuse the compresses with herbs. Ginseng for revitalization. Chrysanthemum for anti-inflammatory effects. Green tea for antioxidants. The warm compress delivered active compounds deep into the skin. The cold compress locked everything in. Together, they naturally improved circulation, tightened pores, and reduced puffiness. Dermatological studies confirmed what Koreans intuitively knew. Contrast therapy boosts collagen synthesis by up to 30 to 35%. The Koreans were hacking their collagen production with nothing but temperature changes and herbal water. The practice also addresses fluid retention. When circulation is poor, fluids pool under the skin. The alternating temperatures force fluids to move, draining excess buildup and restoring facial definition. However, while temperature trained the skin externally, there was another method brewing beneath the surface, literally. Koreans have been fermenting food for centuries: kimchi, doenjang, gochujang. But at some point, someone looked at fermented rice and thought, what if I put this on my face? Fermentation breaks down complex molecules into simpler ones that skin can absorb. Proteins become amino acids. The process creates enzymes, probiotics, and peptides that feed the skin's microbiome. Fermentation pre-digests ingredients for your skin. Makgeolli, Korea's traditional rice wine, became a facial mask ingredient. It contained kojic acid, a natural brightening agent. Doenjang, fermented soybean paste, was mixed with honey as a spot treatment. Fermented rice water, full of peptides and enzymes that strengthen the skin barrier. Women who used fermented ingredients consistently had clearer, brighter skin. Centuries later, modern K-beauty brands took this ancient wisdom and turned it into an industry. Galactomyces ferment filtrate. Bifida ferment lysate. These are descendants of those old fermented waters. Fermentation aligns with the skin's natural biology. Your skin has a microbiome that protects it. Fermented ingredients feed that microbiome. They nourish it. And when your microbiome is healthy, your skin glows. But here's the thing about feeding your skin constantly. Eventually, it gets lazy, which is exactly why they built a counterbalance. Once a week, they'd stop. Everything. No cleansers, no creams, no toners. For 24 to 36 hours, the skin was left alone, just rinsed with lukewarm barley tea or herbal water. They called it skin fasting. Your skin has its own systems. It produces oils. It maintains an acid mantle to fight bacteria. It regulates moisture naturally. But when you constantly layer products, those systems get confused. Skin fasting was a weekly reminder. Your skin knows what it's doing. During fasting, the skin's enzyme and oil production would restabilize. The acid mantle would restore itself. Within 36 hours, the skin would reboot. Clinical trials in Seoul found that consistent weekly fasting improved lipid balance by about 40%. The practice prevented overdependence on products. Traditional Korean wisdom said, sometimes the best thing you can do is nothing. Let your skin breathe. Let it reset. This wasn't laziness. It was a strategic rest. The mental aspect mattered too. It forces you to trust your skin. That psychological shift contributed to better skin because stress destroys it. When you stop stressing about your skin, it often improves on its own. But fasting wasn't the only way they taught the skin to relax. There was also a hands-on method using ancient meridian maps. Traditional Korean medicine saw the face as a map, a network of energy pathways called meridians. The forehead linked to the lungs, the cheeks to the liver and stomach, the under eye area to the kidneys. Meridian tapping was simple, light tapping with fingertips along specific facial lines. The tapping stimulated circulation and encouraged lymphatic drainage. Lymph is the body's waste removal system. When it's sluggish, fluids and toxins build up, causing puffiness and breakouts. Blood flow increased by up to 60% during tapping. That extra blood brought oxygen and nutrients to skin cells, improving elasticity. The tapping also relaxed facial muscles, releasing tension that creates wrinkles. Clenched jaws, furrowed brows. All that tension etches lines into your face. They used oils during the process: camellia oil, perilla oil, sesame oil. The oils allowed fingers to glide smoothly while delivering vitamins and fatty acids. The combination of tapping and oil created a ritual that was functional and meditative. Tapping reduced puffiness and tightened facial contours, but it also promoted a calm expression. When your face is tense, you look stressed and older. When relaxed, you look younger. The Koreans understood that beauty wasn't just about structure, it was about expression. And expression was controlled by something deeper than muscles. Emotional calm wasn't a bonus. It was the foundation. They believed that a calm mind fed the face, that beauty reflected internal serenity, that stress literally broke down your features from the inside out. Stress hormones, particularly cortisol, destroy collagen. They break down elastin and thin the skin. Korean aging studies found that people with low cortisol levels retained 25 to 30% more facial elasticity. That's not small, so they built practices around facial stillness. Silent mornings, soft breathing, relaxed facial posture. Controlled expression prevents microcontractions that carve permanent lines. Every time you furrow your brow, you create a tiny fold. Do that 10,000 times, and that fold becomes a wrinkle. This wasn't about suppressing feelings. It was about not wearing them on your face constantly. There's a difference between feeling stress and showing stress. That distinction saved their skin. Because the face, when relaxed most of the time, doesn't develop deep expression lines. They're not inevitable. They're habits. The philosophy went deeper. They believed beauty was a reflection of harmony. That external glow required internal peace, so they prioritized mental cultivation as much as physical care. Meditation, breathwork, stillness, not as wellness trends, as beauty rituals. This is what modern skincare ignores. We treat aging as purely physical, but emotional aging is just as real. The wear and tear of stress shows up on your face. The Koreans knew this centuries ago. They knew that if your mind stayed stressed, your face would age anyway.